going to do a cue in, and I'm gonna just be sitting here, and you're going to be like, Nick, that was your cue, and I'll be like, what? I didn't know there was a cue.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Just,
welcome to Tangents and Shenanigans for a second discussion on a movie. Eventually. But, in case you guys haven't already known, we don't get into it right away. Sometimes we
nope.
stall, and that's called, like, our
And
trailers.
I'm surprised that we're even doing a second episode.
I know, and it took us less than a year to do it. Look at us. Improving.
Yeah, hell yeah.
One of the I will say, one of the things that I noticed from the first discussion on underwater, it's like a glass shattering moment for me. I did not realize I said at this point so many times. I
Oh,
mean, I
that's your
was like,
moniker.
dude, shut up. You've already said that.
But
Oh
hey,
my
that's your
god.
moniker though. If suits you, you know.
A saying, yeah, but it was just overdone, and I just when I was editing it, I'm like, oh my god, I say it so much. So, anyways, was there anything that you
Eh,
noticed about like something that you said during the rewatch?
yeah, yeah. We didn't talk about the movie all too much.
We talked about some of it. I
No.
mean,
Oh, I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We did.
you,
We did good.
no, you know what I didn't cover actually is the alternate endings.
Hmm.
We brought it. You brought it up twice, and I
Oh,
never
yeah.
got
That's
into
right.
explanation for that. So for the viewers that are out there,
No, I think we did, but then we cut it because we said, well, we'll just leave it at that.
okay. Well, the I know that the should we even talk about this? We shouldn't even talk about underwater. No, 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 no.
Hmm.
Well, we'll move on.
No. Why
We
are we talking about underwater when we already talked about underwater?
exactly. So no more underwater unless there's talks about above water.
Hell yeah. The
Okay.
sequel that we always wanted. Just like what they did with the movie we're talking about now, where they made that movie called The Sandlot, Going Home or Coming Home or something, I don't know.
Well, going back to here's the movie that we're going to talk about today. If you haven't already could tell from the from the thumbnail. I can't even talk right now. The movie we are
Uh,
talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is The Sandlot, the classic, the most classic of the classics. Came out in 1993. Um, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie as a kid and just rewatching it. There's always going to be a direct level of nostalgia for me watching that film. Wouldn't you
oh,
agree?
dude, same.
Yeah.
Yes, I even watched it last night.
Dude, even I mean, tell me, like when you hear the opening like song, just the tune, of older Scotty Smalls walking to the little
It
podium.
makes me think of Field of Dreams.
A little bit, huh? Oh,
Yeah, because
another
they kind of
great
have like that
movie.
same vibe, you know? They kind
Another
of
great
do.
movie. I don't know if
I know.
we'll ever talk about that on this channel, but that's a
Nah, we don't
great
need to.
movie. It's also a good
It
movie to
is.
watch around Father's Day, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then have a catch right afterwards without getting emotional.
Yeah, well, or getting hit in the face with the baseball.
That's true. And then getting a steak to rub it on your eye afterwards to reduce the swelling. Oh
Oh
man.
yeah, big
So
old piece of meat on your face. Smack.
hey, either that or a bag of peas, a bag of frozen veggies, any of that. I remember working back in the day if you didn't have a
Oh
nice pack.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I did the bag of peas.
well, going into this movie, so what we did before pushing play was just rewatching the trailer, even though Nick had watched it last night. I did not, however, but rewatching the trailer already kind of fills in the gaps in my mind of like what took place during which part of the movie, and I'm very excited to get in depth about it. So, Nick, like, why don't you like start like first memory that comes to your mind when watching this movie?
Oh, it has to just be, the field itself and, you know, the dog.
The dog, yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I'll say this much. Like, the characters are great, but I just, when you see the backstory of the dog and the little puppeteering dog you see that looks like a beast, it's just
Oh,
funny.
the over exaggerated dog, the
Yeah.
animatronic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, well, I always remember the scenes. I mean, how
Uh,
many scenes from this
it's
movie
just
do
great.
you quote?
Hmm.
Like, how many quotable scenes?
None.
Ton, right?
Probably. Probably some. Like, here's the thing. I'll say this much: when it comes to movies, I can't remember quotes worth of shit, but I'll only remember like one or two or three.
Well, something we hear even in today's society, we still hear "You're killing me, Smalls," or
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it every once in a while, to be honest. Um, but you know, the important thing about this movie, thinking back, is the companionship and the relationships that each of those kids formed on that sandlot together. And I loved how, towards the end it shows you, like right before the credits roll, it shows you where each of them ended up in their life. I really like that.
Yeah. It
And
kind of like goes full circle because at the beginning of the film, you see him walking to his office game ready for that game, and that's when it takes him back to his childhood, and then it flashes forward to the present day.
yeah, and I don't know if you've ever seen this. Also, it's another baseball movie, For Love of the Game. Did you ever see that one?
I don't know. I never have.
That one is also with Kevin Costner, and he plays a pitcher in that. So during this, one game, he's at the pitcher's mound. He's recalling all of these events in his life that brought him to this moment. Um, and that was actually a really good movie too. I liked him in that movie, and more of a drama for sure. But this movie is not a drama.
Oh,
This is
okay.
this is by all means a comedy. Now, let's dive into this.
Well, I think the very first scene has to be where it's still at the beginning of the movie, but it's just when he first meets the other kids, and I just it's funny how because his character is such the most shyest person, and he's just creeping in that bush behind them or whatnot, just kind of like looking at him playing ball and just kind of gauging like, okay, do I just join in or do I just kind of stay back here and go from there?
Mm-hmm. So right now he's just doing that shush bush tactic,
Oh yeah,
and
he plays Fortnite.
just kind of seeing how these kids form all these plays and execute them precisely, and he's just like in pure amazement, and a little
Oh, he is, yeah.
and context into Scotty's character. What we learn from him in the opening scenes is that he is a bit of a, not per se like loner, but he spends a lot of time indoors. He's got like all these contraptions in his room, and kind of like the modern
Yeah.
day
And did you
Legos.
catch that at the beginning that his contraption is called the erector?
I No, I did not catch that actually.
Yeah, it's called the erector.
Mount Erectus. So,
Pure metal penis.
but even his mom, bless her heart,
Man,
she's trying to get him to go outside and like
yeah,
get into trouble, just be a
yeah,
kid, which compels him to follow these kids to the Sandlot. And I remember that this is the scene where he doesn't play with them for the first time, but there's a rogue ball that flies out to where the fence is, and that's when the other kids on the baseball diamond notice him, the gang, so to speak, and they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, come on, Benny, why'd you do that?" and
yeah.
Scotty's like trying to get the ball, and then obviously he doesn't know how to throw, so he
I love the fact
tries.
he walks over and they're looking at him like, what is he doing? Like, even when he was playing catch with Bill slash, dad too, like, when they're playing catch in the backyard, he gets the ball and instead of throwing it to him, it's just like, he walks over and he puts it in his, glove. And I don't know if you knew this, but he actually played baseball in real life. So when it came to him not throwing, he said he had to act like he didn't know what he was doing. And it was funny that his baseball coach watched the movie and he was very disappointed in him when he was the way he would throw and put the
Really?
ball in the glove and stuff. Yeah.
Because the actor that was playing Scotty Smalls was in
Mm-hmm.
baseball at the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Did not know
Yeah.
that.
So when he had to play like he didn't know shit for shit, he said that was the hardest part because he's like he knows how to throw and do all this stuff, but then he had to do the complete opposite. So when his coach saw the movie, he's like, "Man, I'm disappointed in you."
He's like, "Who's this trash kid player that I wanted
Yeah,
on my
he's like, "I
team?"
have failed you."
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Well,
Oh,
yeah, the stepdad played by Dennis Leary. First of all,
I
another
love him
another
as an
good actor.
actor.
He was really good in that show Rescue Me about the firefighters.
And Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man as Mr. Gwen Stacy. No, Mr. Professor. What's his
Yeah.
name?
R.I.P.
Captain
Wait,
Stacy.
wait, what? Yeah, Captain Stacy. Whoa, you know, Professor.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Getting my roles all mixed up. So,
that's okay.
but yeah, like, and we don't know actually what happens to the dad. We're just like the
Yeah,
original
we
dad.
do. Yeah, we do. No. They say that the dad died. So
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
was it in an accident? They don't go into details. Obviously, we know he's
No,
he's
they just said
gone.
he went poof. Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, maybe he spontaneously
Yeah.
combusted.
Oh.
So we've already established the beginning, like
And
the
you did
first
break up a
interaction.
little bit. By the way, you did sound robotic like a couple times, and then I had to catch up just on my end from hearing you.
Oh,
Just as a heads up.
well,
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't interfere. Well,
Yeah.
anyways, moving on. So we just had an intermission. Um, and that'll be the first of the evening. So,
Yeah, well, first of many, because we have shenanigans going on the side that you guys won't see potentially, but we got this.
we got this. So we're in recovery mode now. So end of
Hmm.
intermission one. We now have the first interaction with Scotty Smalls and the gang, and immediately they think he's trash. But is that going to stop him
Yeah.
from going back? The answer is no. Otherwise, how interesting would the movie be? So,
Well, there would be no movie.
so this, so the second interaction is when he goes back, and Benny kind of takes him under his wing, the leader of the gang, and if in my book, he's the star.
Yeah, and you know what's cool too is when he first meets Benny too is like after he played catch with his dad, and and all that stuff, and he was giving excuses to Benny like, oh, my glove's kind of broken, I can't really play. And Benny just takes out another mitt and was like, you can use this one. And it's like he kind of picks him up because he can kind of see like, hey,
And not only does he give him an
yeah.
older mitt, he asks if he has like another baseball cap because he's still wearing that big old build tan
Oh
cap,
yeah. And
and
I love how he's like, hey, he's like, do you have a fireplace? And he's like, yeah. He's like, burn that one.
burn that shit, which he doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, his head grew into the hat. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Fit him better as an adult.
Yeah.
Okay, so he had to just grow
Mhm.
into it. He needed
Yeah.
his character arc before that hat fully fit him.
Yeah,
Um,
the hat arc.
the hat arc.
Yeah. Hey, he went through many phases. He went through the big bill to the little bill back to the big bill.
So now, in video game terms, Scotty now has level 2 glove, level 2 hat.
Oh my
We're
god.
ready. We're we're ready for action. So,
Yeah, but he took 25% of health when he got hit in the eye, so he's still like recovering and won't be 100% until 2 days from now.
well, thankfully the Lord blessed him with another eye, so he'll still be okay.
Yeah.
Now, so the second interaction, Scotty's feeling a little bit okay. I kind of got this. And the other kids are like, they're giving him all these kinds of names. And one, what was it? Yeah, is like, yo, he's a square. Kid's a square. And
Yeah.
what's Sphinx? What's his name?
Oh, we're missing
Squints.
something, dude. Yeah, but we're missing a part though,
What
and I
part?
just realized it's the part where he first meets them at the store, and they're talking about the Great Bambino, and that's where Benny introduces them to the
Oh,
group
that's
before he meets them on the
right.
field. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that's terrible. Cause like because Benny is introducing Scotty to the gang, and as the introduction, they're just like
He's
spitting on the
like, "Who's
ground.
that?" Yeah, I know they all spit. You have the dry spit, the wet spit, the semi-dirty
Like
spit.
yeah,
Yeah.
now we're getting too specific. But yes, the introductions are made, and then they're talking about obviously Babe Ruth
The Great
and all of,
Bambino, and
and
he's
all of
like,
his
"Oh,
different
I thought it was Bambi."
yeah. All of his different monikers, and Scotty's trying to recover in the best way he can. So he's like, "Oh, Disney movie." They're like,
Yeah.
"No, no."
I
Uh,
love how Ham just backs up. He's like, What'd he say?"
Ham, honestly, Ham's one of my favorites.
Uh,
Ham, Ham delivers a lot of a lot of the best lines, especially based on his facial expressions. Or when he's just like disgusted, like visibly disgusted, he's just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
um,
Uh,
well, after they leave the store, they end up going back to the Sandlot, right?
yep. And then that's when they kind of see him play a little ball. And I love how Benny had to tell him, it's like, okay, I want you center left or left center. And he's like, here. He's like, no. And then he's like, oh, here. And he's like, you stay. He's like, you stay there. And he's like, I'll help you out.
He's like, "Yeah, good enough." And then, obviously, he tries to
Yeah,
get
good enough.
yeah. Then he tries to get Smalls, hits him a fly ball, tries to get him to pass it to second, and can't. And he does. At this point, he does try to throw right before he hands it to him.
No, 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 no. He hands it to him, and they're all watching him, and they're just like, I can't believe this is happening. And the moment he puts in the glove and walks back, it's like, holy jaboli, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think Scotty has like one more pep talk in that scene from Benny,
Yeah.
and that's what gets like that's what is the driving force to getting Scotty to
To
catch
give
his
him the
first ball.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he says, hey, you put your glove up, and I'll do the rest. And he does. He spits on the ball or whatever, and he smacks it right towards him, and he catches it. And then he does his first throw, and then it gets to second, and they're like, right on. And then I love how Squints was just like, yeah, all right.
And then the pitcher, he's like, "All right, let's play some ball."
Yeah.
And then the friendship is made. And
Mm-hmm.
at what point
Bros
do
for life.
and how soon do we get to the camp out? Because at the end of their
Soon,
first,
but first,
huh?
we're introduced to a very, very pretty character, and that's Peppermint Patty.
Peppermint Patty, also known as Wendy Peppercorn, the lifeguard.
And at the store, where
Oh.
she's walking by and they look at her ass and check her out. Remember, Squints was like, Wendy Peppercorn. He takes his glasses, moves it up, and smiles at her. And then as she walks her past the street, the...
Little perv. Oh god.
I know. We were all little pervs back in the day.
That's true. That's true. Then I think right after that successful play is when Scotty turns around because he hears like the rumble behind the fence, and that's like the
Yeah, the
beast, and he
dog.
sees the
And you see the
silhouette.
Godzilla shadow
Yeah, the
of the
Godzilla
head of the
shadow.
dog.
And that's when he addresses the group. He's like, "Yeah, there's something back there." It's like, "Yeah, it's the beast." And he's like, "What?" That's when they do the camp out. So it's that night, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly certain. And then we get the camp out, and then Scotty comes in and is playing the song from "In the Jungle, the Mighty
Jungle, the
Jungle."
mighty jungle. Da, 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 da.
The Lion
Oh
Sleeps Tonight
God.
plays in the background as Scotty is like running to the treehouse and then climbs in. All the kids are like laughing and yelling, and then Scotty's trying to justify why he was late. Sorry, my mom had to make me wash the dishes and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, shut
Yeah.
up. You're already here now.
Yeah, it's like, who cares? You're here. But then the best, probably classic scene of the movie, dude, and that is the s'more scene, where
Yes.
Ham is asking Smalls, "Do you want a s'more?" And he's like, "Some more what?" He's like, "A s'more." He's like, "Well, how do I, what? Fuck, I'm
How do I have
stumbling, dude.
more
I'm
of
stumbling.
something that I didn't
Something
already
I
have?
don't have." Yeah, yeah.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, and that's where the famous line comes in, and it's just a classic wholesome thing. And I love how he's like, you take the gram, you put the chocolate on the gram, you take the mallow and put it in the fire, and he burns it too. And then he's like, you stick it on the chocolate, and then you squish it all together, and then take a
And then stuff. And then you hear like squints in the background. Oh, maybe one of
stuff.
those. And then Yaya's like, nah, I don't like all that sweet stuff. I was just like, oh, it's
Yeah,
kids. What do you
it's
mean you don't like
soft.
all the sweet stuff? Oh my god.
Oh, I know,
And and
soft.
and then we have story time. Stories told in the dark. And they
Oh
and they
yeah.
give us the flashback and the origin story of the beast.
I love how the part where they give him the big ass fucking meat and like the little Flintstone meat, and then it just like barfs out all the bones and stuff.
Yeah, like super comical. Like none of this really happened, but you're supposed to believe it as a kid, so it's part of like the urban legends. And the owner's dog in the flashback is like, "Well, how long do I need to keep him chained up?" And then the officer
Oh,
in
I
charge
know.
is like, "Forever, forever," and superimposed, and everyone remembers that scene if you've seen it. That's also one of the throwback scenes that I'll always remember. It's like permanently stored in my memory.
Yeah, and you know I didn't realize too, and this is something that's going to be kind of funny when you realize it, is after that scene and they look at the dog and they all get scared shitless or whatnot. Did you know that Squints is holding a fucking gun?
Was it a real gun though, or like a BB gun? Or
It will look like one of those like BB guns, but I never caught that. That he's like literally holding a gun to his
yeah,
chest
I do
after
remember that.
Smalls looks in the yard, and it does like that little camera pan towards the thing, like it's running up the fence and gets scared or what.
Yeah, because Scotty's like in disbelief after that story. He's like, you guys are just saying all of that to making it all up to scare me. And it's like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well look out that window and look down,
So yeah.
and then yeah, and then
Well,
you.
there's this crazy story about the dog, by the way. So the director of this film, this is based on his brother who wanted to play baseball with a group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
and a baseball did go over a fence. There was, he goes over the fence, and there was a dog, and it actually bit him in the leg.
Did it really?
Yeah. So that's where the whole fear of a big dog comes into play in this movie, because he's taking what happened with his brother.
Interesting. We
Oh,
talked
we
about
got the
before then.
pool. Yeah, we got the peppercorn pool scene, the classic
And what leads up to
pool
that? It's just a super
adventures.
hot day, right? And they don't want to play ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Ham
Nah,
is
they
like
play ball. Yeah.
Ham is like, I'm baking like a so good cheeseburger. It's so
Shrimp.
hot out here.
Yeah.
They're all dying, and Benny's like, no, man,
Well,
we're gonna play. He's like such a diehard kid, and they're like,
yeah,
no, like it is too hot to play out here. And he's like, well, then what else do you guys want to do? And then that's when Squints like looks around.
yeah.
No,
And you know what's
it,
funny?
huh? No, it was yeah, yeah.
Well,
It was yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, I was just going to say what's interesting is they're talking about the film that so apparently they filmed all the baseball scenes in the hottest days of days, and even some of the directors and people were passing out while filming the movie and stuff. And the other ironic thing about it is that when they did the pool scene, they did that scene during the coldest day of the year because it was all overcast here and there. So when you see Squints, who goes to like the diving board and he's shivering, and sees teeth tearing, he's actually cold.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's like you think they would film the pool scene when it's the hottest days of the year, but no, they did it complete opposite. So it's just kind of ironic where it's like, yeah, they're playing in the heat, dying, and then they're doing the pool scene and it's cold as hell.
well, that's interesting because it was filmed in Salt Lake City in Utah, or around
Yeah.
there, I think, in the
Mm-hmm.
neighboring areas around that. But
Yeah.
that yeah, that would suck too. Well, I know that other movies, due to like scheduling demands and where there's like multiple locations being filmed at, they kind of don't. They do have to take weather into consideration, but sometimes it's just on a schedule crunch. Like, no, like we only have enough time to be here, so we have to get all the shooting done now.
That's true.
So we get to the pool scene. They're all having a blast jumping in the pool. Ham gets his little
I
like
love Ham.
he
This
gets
is a
his little
little
like
walk.
his little walk of game. He's like eyeing all the ladies like, "Hey ladies, how's it going?" And then right in
He's like, I
front
remember you.
from what though? What is he talking about?
I
Oh my
know.
gosh, he must be talking
Oh
about like a
fuck.
swimsuit edition that he had like seen from his dad's like under the bed. And he's like, "Oh yeah, she looks just like her."
Oh.
I mean, how else is he gonna say that? Well, anyways,
Well, yeah.
he decides, what's a good idea? Let me ruin these girls' day that are just trying to get some sun. I'm just gonna do a big old cannonball
Splash.
right in front of them.
Bam. I've done that before, by the way. It's a tradition.
Is a
Just
tradition,
splash
huh? Is it
people
a
for.
Hoff tradition?
Yeah. No, it's just my tradition. I like seeing people
You're
wet.
like,
Oh,
who's still dry around the pool? We're gonna
who's
change that.
dry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish out of water.
Oh,
So, Nick, why don't you talk about this next scene? Because I know you love this next part.
what do you mean? I love this next part. It's not. God, you're making me sound like a fucking creepo, dude.
Come on, dude.
Um, okay, so after Ham splashes the ladies, they're on the pool, and Squint's eyeing the lifeguard
Mm-hmm.
Peppermint Patty, while she's putting her sunblock, her P55 or whatever the fuck they call it, and so he gets the idea like, hey, I'm gonna go jump in the deep end, and he can't swim.
Nope.
So he goes to nope. So he goes to the little thing. He's shivering like a beaver, and he's like waving at her, like, "Hey, look at me!" And all of a sudden, he plugs his nose and deep dives. And it's funny how within a second they show his body to the bottom, and then the other kids are like, "Oh fuck, we gotta go get him!" And that's when she sees it too. She pulls a whistle and fucking dives like a hero, goes under, pulls him up, and the lifeguard's like, "Come on, Wendy, we gotta help him." And then that's when he's like on the ground, and she's giving him mouth to mouth, just making sure he's breathing. And all the kids are like, "Man, he looks kind of sick."
Yeah.
And then that's when the reveal happens.
He
He
like,
opens his eyes and
yep,
does a wink, wink, like, "Hey,
to
hey."
all of his friends.
And that's when the next blow is when he grabs her head and just starts making out with her, and she's like, "You little pervert," and starts dragging out. And I love the music that goes with it because
This
it's so good.
magic
And this
moment.
magic moment, da, 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 she throws him off onto the lawn. And there's a funny thing about the scene too that I found out is that he was kind of excited for the kiss. Being a kid, it's like, you have like a very, attractive person playing even though they're making
Uh-oh.
a movie and film, it's like, it's the first kiss. So the director is like, just remember when she's doing the kiss or whatnot, just don't do no tongue.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they told him that. Yeah. So it's just kind of funny, Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
yes. So after his daring daring decision to make out with the lifeguard, even if it were just for a moment, they get kicked out of the pool. But what
Forever.
happens?
Yeah, forever.
But what happens after that? They're already outside the gate. Squints looks over to the lifeguard tower and
Yeah, and she's
sees her.
smiling.
She looks pissed
Yeah.
off, but then she like lifts up her sunglasses and then kind of gives him a little like a soft glare, and then waves at him like, "Oh, there's still a chance." He's like, "There's still a
There's still a
chance."
chance, and there is a chance because they get married and have fucking what, 8 kids at the end of the
Yeah, how
movie?
many kids did they end up having? 7 or 8 or something
Eight.
like that. Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I know. Little
Um,
squinces all over the place.
That's funny though. I did think that was hilarious at the end when it said, yeah, he ended up marrying Wendy Peppercorn later, and they
Yeah,
had, yeah, I think it was 8 kids. I think I do remember
yeah,
him
it
saying
was
eight
8.
kids.
It was
Holy
some
cow!
erogenous amount because they had to make it funny. It's like, yeah, they had like fucking 8 or 9 kids.
Yeah. If it was 9, they would have had a whole team, a whole baseball team
Yeah, he
ready.
was like fucking Nick Cannon over here. He was beating him before he came
Oh.
around. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to get his balls insured.
Well, Nick Cannon was like, I'm gonna have one with everybody. at least,
Dude.
at least Squints was loyal. He's like, nah, you my baby maker.
Yeah, well, hey, that's why. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll end it there.
Yeah.
So
What the
now,
fuck?
now we've had a couple of bonding experiences with the gang, and now it's time to introduce the giant plot.
Assholes. Yep.
Well,
No, the
oh,
assholes first.
oh, the assholes first. Okay, we're
The
not at the
other
plot yet.
team, yeah, yeah. We're not at the plot yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're scrounging for the last other characters that we keep forgetting.
So yeah, so the neighboring baseball
Team, yeah.
gang, which they all act like they're top elite. They're all in uniforms and they think they're all hot shit. And they come over and
Mm-hmm.
try to like uh, act condescending to our gang, and then they just go in like a name calling rage until they challenge each other. on the
Mm-hmm.
opposing team's home turf. It's like, fine, we'll go to you guys. We'll be the away team, and we'll
And I
blow you guys
love
out of
how
the
they just
water.
kick their ass.
They
Yeah, they just
do.
kick their ass. Dude, it's like they put the game on easy and just fucking start smacking the ball left and right. And even like Smalls hit the ball and they're sliding into bases and bags. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that each of them got a hit.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting. And then you even see like Scotty, like, oh, okay, all right, now who's got skills now?
Smack. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So yeah, they totally blow the other guys out of the
Creamed them.
water. And I love when Ham is like when he's the catcher. Um,
Oh, where he's
and he's
talking to him.
just yeah, he's
Yeah.
shit talking all of the batters. Like, hey, is that your sister up there? Yeah, she's naked. And it's like, shut up, Porter.
Oh, yeah. Shut up.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it was so funny. I love that scene. What I can't remember, dude. I think we glossed over the night that they went to the fair. That takes place before this, right? Or
The
after?
fair is after. No, the fair is after
It
this.
is.
Yeah, the fair is after because they start talking about 4th of July. And dude, not
Love
gonna
that
lie, that
scene
was the
with the
most
fireworks.
nostalgic thing because you know what? It reminds me of when I used to go to like not like big parties, but like little get-togethers, whether it's family or friends, and you just have like or even a neighborhood thing where it's just you have all the snacks, you have like the hot dogs, the chips, the burgers, the feeling of just summer, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just for whatever reason when I watch that scene and I hear the music and you see the fireworks and they're playing at night and they have the snacks and the neighborhood's all set up as a little get together, it's like, dude, that's just pure nostalgia right there. Where that if you want the definition of summer, that would be it right there.
You couldn't have said it more right because I do love that scene for the night game. Even Ham is trying to get his pregame snacks on. He's assembling
Oh,
like the
dude,
hot
he
dog
scars
whips.
that wiener, dude. He's like, oh.
Hey, that's what you do like before going into a boss battle. You're just eating all of your provisions
all
before.
the health kits. Yeah, you eat all the health kits and buffs, and you're just like, I'm ready for the final boss now.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like they're all focused in the game, and then Benny launches a ball high up in the air, and then they're just like, they're just, I'm having a stroke
I
right now. I
can't
can't say the
hear
word.
you.
What?
Oh God,
You can't hear me at all?
I can't hear you talking. Oh.
Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.